hierarchical clustering. So here it uses distance matrix as clustering criteria. Here this method does not require the number of clusters k as input, but instead of that it needs one terminating condition. And as with k-means, this approach is relatively old compared to many clustering algorithms, but they still enjoy the widespread use. And there are two basic approaches for this, for generating hierarchical clustering. And the two basic methods are algorithmic and divisive. So in algorithmic, what happens is, this you start with the points. Okay, you will start with the points as individual clusters. See, if you have clusters like this, you will use you will start with the points as individual clusters, and each step we will merge the closest pair of clusters. If you will just check here, we will merge the two closest pair of clusters. This requires defining the notion of cluster proximity. So we will just use here we use distance matrix as clustering criteria, and here again we don't need the number of clusters to be specified as input, but we need some terminating condition. In case of divisive with one and all-inclusive cluster, and in each step we will split a cluster until only singleton clusters of individual points remain. So we will just divide it. We need to decide which cluster to split at each step and how to do the splitting in case of divisive. So agglomerative nesting, which was introduced in Kaufman and Rousseau, it was implemented in statistical packages. The agglomerative hierarchical clustering techniques are far the most common, and we will focus exclusively on these methods. So it is often displayed graphically using a tree-like diagram called the dendrogram. If you will just see here, it will be represented in the form of this hierarchical cluster is often displayed graphically using this tree-like structure. This is the tree-like structure which is called as dendrogram. So this displays both the cluster subcluster relationship and the order in which the clusters are merged. See, this is the order in which the clusters will be merged. So dendrogram shows how dendrogram will show how clusters are merged. Okay, so we'll just decompose the data objects into several levels of nest partitioning, that is tree of clusters, which is called as dendrogram, and a clustering of this data object is obtained by cutting the dendrogram at the desired level. Then each connected component will form a cluster. And as you all can see, it displays both the cluster subcluster relationship. See, we have the cluster and subcluster relationship, and the order in which the clusters are merged. This is the order in which the clusters are merged, and or split. If it is an divisive view, then the way it is split. Data is split, that is shown in divisive, whereas how it is merged, that is shown in this dendrogram, by using dendrogram. So for sets of two-dimensional points, as we will discuss, they can be in the form of like this, in the form of these four-dimensional points. Okay, so inverse order of this AG and ES is nothing but your diana, and eventually each node forms a cluster on its own here. It's a dividing. First we have this, then we divide it further and divide further. How long do we proceed with this? Until eventually each node forms a cluster on its own. So this is divisive analysis. So how to find the distance between these clusters? The distance between these clusters, we can have the single link, which is the smallest distance between an element in one cluster and element in the other. So the minimum distance between an element in one cluster to an element in other cluster is called as a single link. And complete link, the largest distance between an element in one cluster and the element in the other. If you will take this cluster, the minimum distance and the maximum distance. So single link is minimum distance between an element in one cluster and the element in the other. What is the minimum distance? And complete link is the largest distance between one element and the other element in the same cluster. Okay, and average, it is average distance between an element in one cluster and an element in the other cluster. So centroid, it is nothing but the distance between the centroids of two clusters. If you will take these two clusters, the centroid is nothing but uh, the distance between these two, and medioid, the distance between the medioid of two clusters. So medioid is the distance between. So it is a medioid, it's nothing but a chosen centrally located object in the cluster. Okay, so this is defining the proximity between the clusters. We are just trying to define the proximity between the clusters. So the key operation of this algorithm is to calculate the computation. Like if we take this agglomerative hierarchical clustering algorithm, the key operation will be just to find the computation of the proximity between two clusters, and it is the definition of cluster proximity that differentiates the various agglomerative hierarchical techniques that we will discuss. And as you know, min-max group, we have discussed max and group, all these are your distance. So minimum defines is the closest distance between the two points. It's also called as a single link, and the complete link max, which can also be called as max. So you have these graph-based definitions of cluster proximity, and we also have these centroid radius and diameter, how they are calculated using these formulas. So if we will take the time and space complexity of this agglomerative hierarchical clustering algorithm, it requires half m square proximities. Half m square proximity, assuming where m is the number of data points. So what happens? The space agent to keep track of as one, excluding the singleton clusters. Hence, the total space complexity here will be big O of n square, where n is the total number of objects, or m square, where n is the total number of objects. So, analysis of this basic agglomerative hierarchical clustering algorithm, it's straightforward with respect to its complexity, but it becomes big O. It requires big O of n square to compute the proximity matrix. Okay. So we can have integration of this hierarchical and distance-based clustering, which is Birch and chameleon algorithms. This is not there for you. So we have examples on these complete single link, complete link, as well as your group average. So if it comes to the key issues of this clustering, hierarchical clustering, we have it's able to handle different cluster sizes. Like one aspect of this relative hierarchical clustering is that um, till now we have not discussed that, like how to treat the relative size of the pairs of clusters that are merged. So there are two approaches for this, weighted and unweighted. So that can be illustrated with the use of a group average technique, which will be discussed in the next coming slides. So we can just say that we can also merge distances which are final. So said that hierarchical clusterings more generally are typical for the underlying applications like creation of taxonomy, which requires hierarchy, and also studies that will suggest that these algorithms can produce better quality clusters. And when it comes to how cost effective it is, the hierarchical clustering algorithm are expensive in terms of their computation and storage requirements, because it merges all final, which can cause trouble for noisy high dimensional data. So these two problems will be addressed by partially clustering the data using another technique which is called as K-means. So let's moving on to DB scan. So you know that density based clustering, it locates regions of high density that are separated from one another by regions of low density. So in this density based clustering method, we have regions of high density that are separated from one another by regions of low density. And this DBSCAN is one of the simple and effective density based clustering algorithm wherein we can just see how the number of important concepts that are important for any day, we can just illustrate how the number of important concepts that are important for any other density based clustering approach are. We can take up those and illustrate those. So we'll focus on DBSCAN after first considering the key notion of density. Okay, so we have center-based approach. So we have two parameters: the maximum radius of the neighborhood and minimum number of points in a neighborhood of that particular point. We will have core points, we will have border points and noise points. These points are in interior of the density-based cluster. So core points are in the interior of a density-based cluster. Is a core point if the number of points within a given neighborhood around the point as determined by the distance function and a user specified parameter exceeds a certain threshold. You will have a certain threshold. So if it exceeds that particular threshold, then we say that the points are interior to the density based cluster. A border point, it's not a core point, but falls within the neighborhood of a core point. So the border points will be in the border, like this can be border points. These are border points. See, if you will check, these are border points and these are core points. And we also have noise point. In a noise point is any point that is neither a core point nor a border point. So in this, we can just check that these are the noise points, whatever we have. Okay. With noise, we can have outliers, that is noise. So when it comes to the DBSCAN, so this is classification of points according to the center based. So we have classified the points based on center based density. This is on the center based density. We have core points, border points and noise points. So when it comes to DBSCAN algorithm, given we have seen that what are the definitions of these core points and noise points. So any two core points that are close enough within distance APS of one another will be put in the same cluster. Likewise, any border point that is close enough to core point is put into the same cluster as a core point. So noise points, as you know, will be discarded. Obviously, we don't need noise, isn't it? So they will be discarded. So the final, you will take. So if we will take the algorithm, we can say that. So the algorithm will use the same concept, like it will just put border points that is close enough to a core point in the same cluster and noise points will be discarded. And if border point is close to core point from different clusters, we may have to sometimes, there may be a point where we need to just resolve it by using ties. So this algorithm DBSCAN uses the same concept and it just finds the same clusters as the original DBSCAN. So we will just label all the points. What we do in this DBSCAN algorithm is that we will just label all the points as core, border or noise points. And then we will eliminate the noise points. Then we put an edge between all core points that are within EPS of each other. You know that it is within a distance, EPS. Distance will be specified. So if they are within that particular distance, we'll put an edge between all core points which are within that EPS. And we make each group of connected core points into a separate cluster. So we will make each group where we have connected both core points into a separate cluster. And we will assign each border point to one of these cluster of its associated core points. And if there is a and we if they are close to core points from different clusters, then we will just which are being separated. So when we select these DBSCAN parameters, we have an issue like how to determine the parameters EPS and minimum points. So the basic approach what we use to look at the behavior of the distance of point to its k nearest neighbor, which we call the k distance, we'll use that. So the points which are belonging to the same cluster, the value of the k distance will be small if k is no longer than the cluster size. So there will be some variation depending on the density of the cluster and the random distribution of points. We can just classify and the k distance will obviously be large for them. Therefore, we can compute the k distance for all data points for some k, sort them in the order, and then plot the sorted values. And wherever we expect to see a sharp change in the value of k distance, so that is suitable for EPS. If we select this distance as EPS parameter and take the value of k as the minimum PTS parameter, then we can just take all the points for which k distance is less than EPS and we can label them as core points. And other points will be labeled as noise or border points. Okay, so that way we will just try to divide the data into different clusters. So it's just an example like how data points are just bifurcated.